Yes, student. Today I will explain you about the PERT and Gantt charts. First of all, what is the PERT chart? PERT actually means Program Evaluation and Review Technique. It is actually a project management tool. With the help of this tool, we can reduce the time and reduce the cost that is required to complete a particular project. Like if we want to reduce the time required to complete any project, or we want to reduce the time, like we want to complete the project within the specific time, like suppose example, the time required to complete a one project is 6 months, but we want to complete that project within the uh, 2 months. Then the effort required to complete that project is increased. So we can examine these kind of parameters by using PERT technique. First of all, you can see on the screen the full form of PERT is Program Evaluation and Review Techniques. And about the history of PERT, it was first used in the USA naval project. Basically, PERT chart show the precedence. Precedence means what are the various activities that will depend on the previous activities, and it actually based upon the critical path method. First, we have to determine which path is critical, and we have to follow that path. Why we are following the critical path? Because by following a critical path, we can know, we can cover the maximum activities, we can cover the maximum tasks that are covered in the particular diagram. So the motive of this tool is to find the time required and the effort required to complete a project, and within the shortest time we can complete the project. Like you can see in the diagram, we can show our project as a network diagram. You can see here the network diagram. Here we have the different nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. One is the first node is the starting point here, and 8th node is the end point here. By using these nodes, we can reach from start of project to the end of project. And you can see these are the various activities like A, and time required to complete this activity is 4. Next activity is C, time required to complete this activity is 2. Next activity is G, time required to complete this activity is 3. Like we have different activities, and by precedence of these activities, by using these activities, we can reach to the destination. So it's depend upon the team of project which path they need to choose. Like you can see, there are 4. First you have to look into the table. These are the different activities: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and these are the times that are needed to complete this activity. And last column is predecessor means the previous activities. Like first activity is A, the time required is 4, and there is no any predecessor activity required for this activity. That's why the none is written over there. Next is B, same, the time required is 3, and the predecessor activity is none. Third we have C, the time required to complete this activity is 2, but the predecessor activity means the previous activity for C is A, not B. Clear? Then next we have D, the time required to complete this activity is 1, and the predecessor activity is A. So you can calculate the each predecessor activity and the time required for the particular activities. Like we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Like for I, you can see, for I, the predecessor activity is F, the time required is 2. Clear? Similarly for J, the predecessor activity is G and time required is 2. So here we want to reach from start to end. So we can have 4 ways to find a critical path. Means we have 4 ways to reach from starting point to the destination point for our project. Like first one is A, first activity A, time required is 4. Then we have C, then we have G, then we have your J. So time required to complete the A is 4, plus time required to complete the C is 2. Then the time required to complete the G activity is 3. Then time required to complete the G activity is 2. So 4 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2, that is it equal to 11. So it is the first path. It is the first way to find a critical path. Second path, maybe it is A, D, H. So time required to complete A is 4, for D is 1, for H it is 2. So by addition of these activities we have 7. So third path we can have is B, E and H. Time required to complete the B is 3. Time required to complete the E activity is 1. Time required to complete the H activity is 2. So by addition of these activities we have 6. Last we have B plus F plus I, means starting we have B, ending we have I to the 8. So by combining these we have 7. So we have to select we have 4 ways to reach from start to destination, but we have to select the longest path. The reason we have to follow the longest path is we need to cover the maximum activities in the PERT chart. So we don't need to skip anything. So that's why we are choosing the longest path. So time required to complete this project is 11 days. Clear? It is helpful in various kind of other things, like for managing our project in a good way, and for reducing the effort, for reducing the time required to. So we have clarity in our mind that in how much time we can complete our project, in how much with how much efforts we can reduce, we can complete our project, with how many human resources we can complete our project. So according to the requirement of project, we can reduce the human efforts, or we can increase the human efforts. Clear? So this is all about the PERT chart, and hope all of you get it. Next we have Gantt chart. Gantt chart is also a project management tool. With the help of this tool we can manage our project, but it is not similar to the PERT chart. Like PERT chart, we can show our project as a network diagrams, as a nodes, as a different activities. But in Gantt chart, we can show our project as this kind of diagram. Like on the left side we have activities, like what activities we want to perform. That should be on the left side, and on the bottom we have the number of days. Like these are the activities given: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Suppose I want to complete these activities. Like we have learned in waterfall model, in spiral model, we have different kind of activities on a project. Like we have a requirement analysis phase, we have design phase, we have coding phase, we have testing phase. So that are the type of activities, and on the bottom part we have the number of days. Like so from the diagram it is very much clear that for completing A, B activities we have taken approximate 4 days, but as we have completed 3.5 days, we started our next activity. Okay, like we are switching from one phase to another phase. Like we are without completion of one phase, we can switch to the another phase, like we have did in classical waterfall model. Same we can use the same method over here. So before completion of the first activity, we can start our E, F, and G activity, and the bottom part is showing in 3 days. Like you can see, 3.5 days we are starting, and up to 5.5 days we are completing our activities. So Gantt chart is very much helpful in managing the project. Like we have clarity in our mind, we have picture in our mind how we can, in how many days we can clear the our project, how in how many days we can complete our project, so we have clarity in mind, so we can use this chart for managing the project. Clear? Both Gantt and PERT charts are helpful in managing the projects, like for reducing the efforts, for reducing the time required to complete the project. Clear? Thank you.